Right, here we go. Okay, so welcome to the halfway point of the season. This is round 4 out of 8. We're at Dragon Trail Seaside. Today, this is tier 3, I should say. Season 12 of GT7 for Aero League Racing. I'm Rosthorn, and I will be commentating as usual for tier 3. So let me just whack the stream up in case there's any interesting comments people want to make as they join. I think we're still a bit early. Yeah. So let's go through the grid anyway while everyone's joining. So in last place we have Dado in the Lexus. He is serving a qualifying ban, so he didn't actually set a time. Trying to get his first good results of the season that don't get taken away by the stewards. So hopefully he has a bit of a cleaner time of it today, starting from the back. Wack jumps in P14 in the Mazda. So Wack had a great Spa and then a pretty anonymous Sardinia, and he's qualified right at the back in this round at Dragon Trail as well. So he's on a bit of a slump at the moment. So he will be hoping to overtake some cars, maybe take some advantage of some incidents that people have. Next to him is Kanasa in P13, still struggling in the BRZ, and Yuri P12. Not a bad qualifying for him. Struggles in the races a little bit more than he does in qualifying. Then we got Riaba in the Peugeot in P11. Expected him to be a little bit higher actually. And then we got Bryans in the Porsche, the first two Porsches in P10. Hurricane managing to get his Subaru in the top 10, so that's pretty good qualifying for him. And then we got Woozy in P8 in the GR Supra, still a fast car. I think it was one of the fastest around here. But the Supras in this tier could only qualify 7th and 8th because his teammate Denz is in P7. Obviously won the Spa feature race in the last race, so would have been hoping to get a little bit higher on the grid. Polti in P6, pretty decent qualifying for him in the Gen X. Then we got Pagel on his second tier 2 race. He's managed to qualify in the top 5, so fairly decent for him. Then we got Skinsy in P4, quite low down for Skinsy actually, in the Mazda. He's currently P2 in the championship, just behind number 3 on the grid, Peaky, in the Beetle, managing to hold on to his lead so far all season. Then at the front, on the front row, we got two people who are making their first appearances on the front row. Definitely the best qualifyings by quite some margin. Filthy in the Lexus and Claus in the Porsche has shown some really good pace in qualifying, actually qualifying quicker than a lot of the tier 2 and tier 1 times, so he might be quite difficult to beat. So let's get this on the go. Let's see how they get on. We've got 5 lights on, and someone's jump started right at the back. Looks like Whack, but we are away. Dragon Trail looks like a fairly bad start as usual by Claus. He's already down to P3, but he's kind of close enough to maybe have a go into turn 1. There's a bit of contact as Peaky tries to go through the middle, and it looks like Peaky actually took the lead of the race there ahead of Claus, and Skidsy in 3rd. Filthy's been jostled all the way down into 4th place here. There were 3 wide going into the death chicane. They'll have to, well, actually they all file back down into single file there, which is really good to see. Looks like no mistakes. Someone who's in P9, Yuri there, looks like he might have got into the wall, but he's avoided getting any damage as everyone's really close together. It looks like Claus has taken the lead of the race, so something's happened to Peaky. Let's rewind and ride on board with Peaky. Looks like he must have hit the wall on his own here. Let's have a look. Claus backs right up, so it doesn't look like Claus runs into the back of him. And yeah, he's got damage as well on both front tyres and his front bumper. He's lost 4 positions there during the death chicane, and now he'll probably come under a little bit of pressure from Polti, so that's a huge mistake by our championship leader after taking an early lead. It's like Denz was having a little look at the inside of Polti there, but backs out of it. Peaky still has damage. It's going to affect him all the way up into the run, into this fast chicane. getting caught very quickly here, but probably is going to be rescued a little bit by the corner. It's going to block Polti's attempt at getting past it. Now his damage is gone, and he can breathe a sigh of relief that he's only lost 4 positions there. Almost goes onto the grass at the start, on the exit of that corner, I should say. But right at the front, we've got Claus, who has quite a big lead already. Let's have a look from his point of view in that green Michelin liveried car. And then Filthy is a solid P2 there. Pagel just behind a P3. Very good start from Pagel, making up 2 places on the first lap. Skidsy exactly where he is at the start. But importantly for the championship, he is 1 position ahead of Peaky at the moment. Peaky might be trying to get these positions back fairly quickly though. Now that the challenge of Polti looks to be well and truly over, so let's ride on board with these guys. As Pagel's closed up very nicely to Filthy there. So ride on board with Filthy as we go through the death chicane for the second time out of probably 9 for most of these for this sprint race, the first race of the night. And everyone looks like they're getting through it fairly cleanly here. Not a lot of them are cutting the corner as much as they could. Oh, there we go, 3 wide through Death Chicane there. Kanata managing to get past Whack Jams and Hurricane. Looks like there was a problem for Woozy, he's all the way at the back now. But right at the front, battle for P2 is still very close between Filthy and Pagel. Pagel definitely has more pace than Filthy at this stage of the race, put him under a lot of pressure, but hasn't been able to chuck his car down the inside anywhere. Pagel is in the, well, they're actually teammates, they're both in the Lexus there, so I don't know if they're in a party together or working together or not, but this could be good points for the Lexus, and maybe even close the gap on the top, because I don't think, well, it's the Mazdas I think who are first, and they're only one of them's going to score points in this sprint race as it stands, and that's Skinsy and P4. Excuse me. Alright, we'll have to ride on board now with Pagel. He's definitely close enough to get advantage of the slipstream here. And is he going to have... No, he backs out of it right at the end. Last thing you want is to do a little bit of a dive bomb on your teammate and ruin a good result for the Team Lexus guys. Skidsy has dropped Peaky a little bit, so Peaky's made a mistake somewhere, only set at 40.5, which is 1.4 seconds slower than his rival. Let's see, is everyone going to navigate the chicane? Oh, Filthy makes a mistake and collects his teammate. His teammate drops to 5th. Skinsy actually hits the wall there, and now Peaky's gone past both of them in all that carnage, and he might be able to get Filthy straight away here as well, because Filthy's definitely got damage on his front right tyre suspension and his front bumper as well, so he's going to be really slow up here. Is he going to leave the door open? He has left the door open, which means he's almost certain to lose this corner now. Let's ride on board with Pagel and see, well actually Peaky's got the move done even before that. So we went from a situation there where Peaky was dropping off the back of these 3, and then a mistake has allowed Peaky into P2. Polti's actually overtaken Skidsy here. Now Skidsy's maybe trying to get a move done back at him. He doesn't want to lose any more positions now that the championship has completely turned on its head with those mistakes. Actually, I think it's probably worth rewinding. So we're going into Dash Chicane here. Let's ride on Skinsy's on board and see what happened, because he was the big loser in all this, because the Lexus guys, Filthy makes the mistake, he collects Pagel, Skinsy tries to avoid it, but actually, without any contact, just doesn't get the car slowed down properly, hits the wall himself, and loses all that time. And then we're going to see him lose the position around the outside. Polti went, and to get P4 from Skinsy, but he's going to retake it right here, like we saw. That was a really good overtake for him. Now that his damage was off, he managed to get that position straight away. Dens is actually going to try and move around Polti as well. Oh, Dens is on the outside though, this isn't going to work. You can't really go... Oh, it is going to work. Now could Dens... Yeah, he stabilised it, because when you cut that corner in the chicane, it's very easy to spin there, but he managed not to. But he's now under pressure from Polti, who's actually got back ahead already, and Brian, who's going to overtake as well here. It's going to be 3 wide into this corner. Brian's got the inside line, so he has the advantage here, should come out on top. They all managed to avoid colliding with each other. Den's actually got a great cutback there on Polti as well to take P7, but everyone is really close, including Riaba as we go into the chicane as well. You cannot go side by side through this chicane. And all this fighting has been great. Oh, Riaba loses it. He makes the exact same mistake that I made on this, and he's got huge damage all over his car. He's dropped all the way down to 30th. It's going to be last now because the field is so bunched together apart from Claus right at the front of the race. Grabber gets half a second penalty as well, just to add insult to injury there. But yeah, let's have a quick check-in with Claus because he is in P1 by quite a significant margin because everyone has made mistakes behind him pretty much. Peaky is managing to drive away now from Pagel, who got past Filthy, and Skinsy's actually got past Filthy now as well. So Filthy's made a mistake somewhere, and now these two are ahead in the fight for the podium positions. Filthy might actually lose a bit of a gap might be created now because he hasn't shown as good pace as the two ahead of him now, and he was holding them up a little bit, and Brian might be able to chase them down as well. So we'll have to see what happens with Brian. He takes that corner very slowly. What's happening up front? It looks like Skinsy's made a mistake on the exit of the corner. He went wide, lost his traction, and now he might get overtaken once again by Filthy. I think Filthy decides to actually bump draft him instead. That's just going to push him along nicely into turn 1 there. Probably not wanting to lose any more time than he already has, Filthy, because he'll be wanting a podium as well. Now, is everyone going to make it through cleanly for once? Let's have a look. Brian doesn't. Oh, and he's going to get overtaken quite comfortably there from Dens. Actually, Dens get pushed into the wall. Dens has damage as well. Now this creates another opportunity for Polti as they make contact going into the corner. Dens all out of position, and Polti could, well, if he got a little bit of a better exit, he could have got both of them there on the run down to the fast chicane, but he might just have to settle for being behind them at the moment. Meanwhile, Dado is up in P9 after starting from the back. He's can't have made any mistakes so far, and he's working his way through the field quite nicely. Now Dent's going to have a go at Brian. Oh, they've just about leave each other enough I can't speak. They leave each other enough room there. A little bit more of a bump. Brian almost gets bumped off the road there, and now they're side by side into this final chicane, this slow chicane, and it looks like Brian's actually going to win out there. Polti could have got a great run, but Den's car was in the wrong place at the wrong time for him, and it affected his exit from that chicane as we complete our 5th lap now. Polti might have a go into turn 1 though. Let's see. Yeah, he's braver on the brakes, but Dens might actually get a slingshot out of the corner. Yeah, Dens does, and he just keeps his P7 for now. So that's a good bit of driving there from Dens. Dens is 3rd in the championship. He won last week in the feature race, but not having so much luck, tonight. Might be thinking about having a go at Brian here though. No, they both got that corner quite badly wrong, and as did Polti because he's still miles behind. But everyone's fairly close as well, even the car behind Polti, which I think is Dado. Oh, Brian goes wide. That creates an opportunity for Dens to try it around the outside, and it looks like Dens is going to pull it off. Absolutely great bit of driving there from Dens to overtake Brian, and now he's going to outbrake Brian as they head into the corner. He does hit the apex perfectly, and he keeps that position. Brian's still very close behind though, might have a chance on the start finish straight if he can stay close enough and get a good exit from this final corner. Oh, it's a huge snake forming behind Dens now. Dado loses traction there, but it seems to be alright, but we're more interested in what Brian could do here. He's got the slipstream, he's got the overspeed, he's pulled himself out of the slipstream. Denz is pushing him as far as he's allowed to. And he leaves just about enough space. Oh, and Brian's lost it and he's actually curbed it, and that brings Pulte very close to him. Now, is Pulte going to actually try and move into death chicane? I wouldn't advise it. Is one of them going to back out? Yeah, Pulte backs out massively, actually. Brian keeps P7. Let's see what's going on a little bit further forward. So we got Claus, huge, comfortable lead. Then we got Peaky, and Paggle's actually closing the gap to Peaky quite quickly here, so that's pretty decent for Paggle. We've got Filthy and Skinsy side by side once again. And Skinsy's got past him to take P4 again from Filthy. Is Filthy gonna... Yeah, Filthy can't get cut back there. Skinsy's taking the lines perfectly and closing the door. We've got Denz up in P6 now, so pretty good recovery for Denz. And Brian, what happened, mate? No. My fellow Porsche driver. Ooh. So he doesn't look like he's fully in control of the car already, you can see. And then he curbs it, goes a little bit too wide, hits the wall a little bit there, spins completely, and he's going to be out of the top 10 because there is P10 and now P11 Kanata. So Brian's attempt at getting points is over, just like Riava's and Whack Jabs are as well. What about this battle for P4? Looks like Skinsy's actually created a little bit of a gap to Filthy, for maybe the first time this race as well. So Skinsy might be able to consolidate P4 from here. He's not under as much pressure as he was. Pulte's really dropped off the back of these guys, so he's clearly made a mistake on this lap. Dado is potentially going to chase him down, so let's stick on board with this little battle. A bit of a wide entry into the corner there for Pulte. He should get a better exit than Dado, but Dado did close the gap there, and he is in slipstream. Now it's quite difficult to take the chicane at the best of times, but when you start getting put under pressure by a driver that's about half a second behind you, it ramps up the likelihood that you're going to make a mistake. Looks like Dado decides to send it. Very, very late on the brakes there. Actually, they both negotiate that corner pretty well, and Dado from P15 on the grid, I think he was, because I think Yuri had a disconnection at some point in this race. He's all the way up to P7 now, so absolutely great recovery drive from Dado. Actually better than when he starts further up the grid, to be honest. So maybe you should start at the back more often. But there is a big gap now between Dado and Denz ahead, who's pretty close to Filthy now, so he could get P5 and continue his own recovery after a bit of a disappointing qualifying, disappointing opening to the race. He could actually end up with the top 5, which, if you want to be challenging for the championship, you pretty much need to finish in the top 5 every race. That's kind of the goal. He's not going to be close enough this time, but Dado might be coming under pressure from Pulte once again, because he hasn't managed to drop him since he overtook, despite having half a lap to do so. He already goes defensive. Pulte decides to take a wide line again. I think that's the standard way he takes the corner. He is going to be able to try and get alongside. And now, I'm scared. What's going to happen? And Pulte backs out again. So Pulte is driving incredibly carefully here. Every time he's managed to get alongside someone, despite having the inside line as well, he decides to back out of it and think better of it. Oh, he goes very wide, he's hit the wall. He hasn't got damage though, but he might get overtaken now by the BRZ of Hurricane. He was very lucky he didn't get damage, or else he would have lost that position. Oh, and they make contact! Oh no! It's going from bad to worse for Pulte. Now he's going to lose his position to Woozy potentially. He does have rear bumper damage, doesn't cost you too much. Woozy and Kanata actually battling behind it. It looks like Kanata's going to get the position off Woozy. So this might save Polty a little bit because these two are battling. Oh, and Woozy's off track. He's out of the points and off track once again. Down into P12 behind Brian, who we saw had that big mistake earlier. So 2 BRZs in the top 10. Kanata in P10. And now he's got a little bit of breathing space. This is the final lap, by the way. So Peaky actually got P2, Hagel P3, Skinsy P4, Filthy just ahead of Dent. So some really good results there. And then a little bit further back, we have Dado, Polty, Hurricane just behind, and Kanata rounding off the top 10. So Polty did manage to get P8 there. 11th for Brian, 12th for Riab, 13th for Woozy. I think Hurricane actually gave that position back on the line, I remember seeing. And that will obviously be in kind of an apology for the way that the overtake happened. But we've got one more car who actually made it into the final lap, the only one. Not many in, I think only one in Tier 2 actually made it to the final lap as well. So that's showing you how fast Claus actually is. He would have been only one of 2 drivers in Tier 2 making it to the last lap if he was in that tier. And obviously, I think half of the drivers in Tier 1 made it to the final lap as well. So Claus absolutely demonstrating some Tier 1 pace today in his Porsche 911. And this is the kind of pace that, oh, as he goes a bit wide there, this is the kind of pace that won him his Tier 4 championship last season. He hasn't really been able to replicate that performance. I think he's got 1 podium in the first 6 races of the season, but this is going to be his second, and it's going to be the top step of the podium. I think it's his first ever win in Tier 3, so great way to announce yourself back into the spotlight. It'll catapult him over the championship as well. P1 for Claus. Nice little relaxing final lap for him as he weaves across the line to take victory. That was some Kimi Räikkönen driving. I used to be a massive Kimi fan when he was in F1. Yeah, insane Claus, absolutely insane. He started off pole, he lost first and second on the run down to turn 1. Managed to get first place pretty easily and then just simply drive away. Even when the fastest guys weren't making mistakes, he was still driving away from them because he had better pace. And now what he'll have to do is try and do the same thing but from the back of the grid, which takes a completely different skill set. Patience, overtaking skills, strategy, when to pit, should I overcut, should I undercut. We haven't had a driver win 2 races in a row at the same in the round in Tier 3 this season. So let's have a quick look through the grid and see who is starting on softs. So Yuri at the back is starting on softs, that's interesting. Wonder if he forgot to change to mediums. And Whack at the very front is also starting on softs. Maybe Yuri thought he'd be starting on pole, but if you don't finish the race, you have to start at the back. Them's the rules. Anyway, we have a rolling start for our 40-minute race. It is complete reverse grid from the sprint finishing positions, and Whack Jams is on pole, trying to rescue a good result for the championship leaders. It looks like a little bit further down, Rihanna's already under pressure from Brian, who the Porsche always starts pretty well in the feature race, kind of compensates for how badly it performs in the sprint. Whack's got the undercut and the inside line for the chicane coming up, so I think he backed out of it actually. That was Brian, by the way, not Whack. A little bit further down, everyone is fairly close as well. Let's see if everyone can make it through okay. It's like there was an RX Vision going a bit wide on the entry. Someone's hit the barriers. That's Yuri, but he doesn't get any damage actually. They all make it through. Now the next big challenge is making it in through this corner safely. There was Polty going really wide. He's P9 at the moment and coming under pressure from Filthy because he's got a really bad exit there. So let's see if Filthy could do anything. Not yet. What about a little bit further up? Got the Subaru's line astern, Hurricane just ahead of Kanata there. So he got past him already actually because Hurricane also finished ahead of Kanata in the last race. So things settling down for the second half and first lap of this race. I think it should be 24 laps for everybody. Oh, Brian, what happened? Oh, they both make it through, but that was a bit hairy. I think Riaba took a pretty slow entry and Brian took the opposite, but they both made it and neither of them ended up going off track. Brian's got a chance of overtaking here. Let's have a quick look. Massive overspeed compared to Riaba, but Riaba's got the inside line for the corner. And he's going to consolidate that position. Brian's going to try the switchback. He's going to try and slingshot himself out of that corner. But I think the Kinder Bueno car is going to keep the position. He's gone defensive into death chicane. Are they going to go too wide into it? There's no space for Brian. He's got to back out, and that is good news for Riaba, who kisses the wall but doesn't get damaged, but it does lose his momentum, and now he's under pressure from two cars now. Brian's also under pressure from Hurricane here, who's moving up into fourth, and he hits Riaba out of the way. Riaba loses that position, and it looks like he's probably going to lose position to Brian. Hurricane's flashing his lights. Is that an apology? I don't know. Maybe it should be. Riaba manages to keep ahead of Brian, and Jesus, Hurricane's all over the place trying to defend that through P3, and it might not be for long if he keeps driving like that and making mistakes. Good news again for the top two, Woozy and Wack, who aren't fighting and starting to build a bit of a gap now. Hurricane keeps P3 and Riaba goes really wide there, but manages to keep hold of P4 just ahead of Brian. Lots of contact happening between these three, and a little bit further back, looks like Dado's up to P6 already ahead of Kanata. He's just managed to get ahead of him, and Denz as well at the top of this battle, and Kanata. Dado's been shuffled back there. He made contact with Kanata. Kanata's into the wall, and Kanata's to the back of the field, apart from Polti, who must have had an incident as well. But right at the front, let's just have a quick look. So we've got the Mazda, and we've got the Toyota here in P1 and 2, and then a little bit further back, Hurricane is still defending from Riaba. Still not managed to lose a position, which is pretty good defensive driving at the moment, but we might be in a situation where we're going three wide into death chicane. Oh, this is going to end badly for someone. Riaba backs out, and Brian sees that he was about to back out, and he slammed on his brakes as well, so they all managed to get through and survive for one more lap. Dado in P6, looks like someone went into the wall. It was Pagel, and he's losing pace to everyone now as well. That's unfortunate for him. But after a strong showing in getting his first podium in Tier 2 in the last race, he's made a mistake that he didn't make in the first race here. Back at the front, Wack has managed to extend his lead probably to a second and a half there ahead of Woozy, so it's looking a bit more comfortable for Wack, and potentially he could be getting in for another win this season if he can convert this reverse grid pole position and avoid the walls. Riaba's lost a little bit of pace to Hurricane now as well. And Brian, oof, is gonna have his momentum affected for the entirety of this straight. It's going to allow Dado to start to close the gap in the VW Beetle there. Then we've got Peaky in P7, actually worked his way up quite well, ahead of Filthy and Skidsy. So Skidsy once again stuck behind Filthy. Looks like they're bump drafting down the straight. Maybe Skidsy wants someone else in the battle, or wants to drag Peaky into this battle because he doesn't want Peaky to be getting away from him. Oh, someone's hit the chicane. Who was it? Hurricane. Right, we need to watch that one and back on board. So he doesn't... Oh, yeah, he hits the inside again. That is the worst part of the chicane to hit, because it just brings your car to a complete stop. And he's still in the top 10 somehow, despite all that, despite going so slowly. He's got engine damage, so he's not going to go very fast at all for the next 20 or so seconds. He'll be dropping right to the back of the grid. And he's on the racing line. Yeah, that is not what you should be doing when you got engine damage. You should not be driving on the racing line at 60 miles an hour. So now he's given Pulte front bumper damage. He should have been off the racing line there. Whack Jamps on his soft tyres is extending his lead. He's managing to gap Woozy quite well now, but he will be on the mediums for the second half of the race. And Riaba's managing to start to slowly reel in Woozy as well. Actually, he was 4/10 slower on the previous lap. Brian was 2 seconds slower than Riaba on the previous lap, and that's why Dado has managed to close the gap to him. A bit further back we still have this battle between Peaky, Filthy and Skinsy. They are pretty close together once again on track, with Yuri actually very impressively in P9 there after starting the sprint of the feature race from the back. He is on the softs as well. Bit of a loss of traction on exit there for Filthy. That's allowing Skinsy to close the gap once again heading into this death chicane, which you don't want to be too close to the car in front because you do get dirty air, which can just send you into the barrier. He hits the wall there. That was Dado actually, but he doesn't get damage. No, it was Peaky. It looks like Filthy's going for it, and he's actually got the inside line there, and he's going to drag race Peaky down to the next corner, but it looks like Peaky actually won there. Maybe Filthy backed out of it because it did look like a bit of a send. Now Skinsy is thinking about having a cheeky move on Filthy, and he's trying to look around the outside there on the entry to the corner, or maybe he just went wide, I don't know. So this is definitely the closest battle on track, and you would have expected these guys who were right at the front in the previous race to be reeling in Bryans, but they are not able to because they keep tripping each other up, essentially. They're not working together, that's for sure. So that was a great exit from the corner for Yuri there, and he might fancy a little look down the inside of Skinsy into turn 1. The slipstream here is incredibly strong, and he can't, nothing can be done about it for anyone at the moment. But it does look like they're starting to reel in Dado now, so Peaky's, well actually no, Peaky was 3/10 slower that lap, so it must be an optical illusion. Peaky hits the wall again, but once again doesn't get any penalties, but he does lose momentum. Filthy once again might try a little look. He is going for it, Filthy, and he's ahead, but he goes a bit too wide into the corner, and Peaky just gets that position back very easily. Now Whack is going to have a chance, Skinsy's going to have a chance to pull alongside, but maybe the straight's just not long enough, and Skinsy was in the wrong part of the track to try a move there, and Filthy keeps the position again. Meanwhile, Dado is slowed right down, and I don't know where he's gone, actually. Oh, he's still in P5. P4's Brian, so something's definitely happened here. Let's join on board with Brian. So he's got Dado all over the back of him here. Dado looks like he's going to try a move, and they're going side by side. Dado is going to get the position. Brian tries to squeeze him into the corner, and manages to get it back on the exit of the fast chicane, and he's still got P4 just about, but Peaky's right behind as well. Dado's got the inside line for the corner, and he just loses the traction on exit, and Brian still has P4. Now the VW Beetles are side by side. I think Dado just gives the position to his teammate, and he's actually lost a place to Filthy, but he's going to try and get that one back, and he does. Very, very close racing going on here, and also very clean, I've got to say. But Dado might be just a sitting duck for these guys. They're queuing up one by one to overtake him. Let's see. Looks like Peaky's going to try and move on Brian at the same time that Filthy's going to try and move on Dado. Both of the faster guys. Oh, Dado gets it so badly wrong. Oh no! And now he's off track. Brian is in P4, Filthy's in P5, Skidsy has managed to get ahead of Peaky because of that. So Peaky's teammate has absolutely scuppered him here. Oh no. You hate friendly fire, you hate to see it. But yeah, Peaky's in P6 and Filthy's actually going to have a go at Brian now. He's in no room to, he's got no mood, oh, what am I talking about? He's not in any mood to waste any more time now that he's got a couple of free positions there. Brian seems to just be struggling at the moment. Now Peaky's still under a lot of pressure from Skidsy. Let's stick with this battle for a little while because this is our two championship leaders. Skidsy's sending it down the inside and he's got the position, he's got the move done. He's gonna come under a little bit of pressure there from Peaky, but Peaky loses a bit of traction. Skidsy's gonna consolidate his position for now, and that could be a very important overtake for the championship. They seem to be on track. Oh wow, what a move from Peaky. Round the outside into the entrance of the chicane as we see Brian spinning out. But that's managed to not affect any of these guys as he was doing a 720 spin by the looks of it. Everyone's very close together. We've got Claus in the battle now as well. Our winner from round one. Skidsy sending it on the inside of Peaky again. Are we going to see another switch for position? As we've got Claus and Yuri very close behind as well. This could be very messy. So Peaky keeps his position through Death Chicane. And then now we've got Claus who's going to make things very interesting because as we saw in the sprint, he's got more pace than these two despite them being the championship leaders. So it's going to get spicy now. Peaky's managed to catch up to Filthy. Filthy's made a mistake there. He's got front bumper damage, so he definitely messed up the Death Chicane or the hairpin after it. Peaky under pressure from Skinsy though as well. Any little mistake and people are going to start losing 3 or 4 positions here. Yuri's having a go there on Pagel. Oh no, he's not. Sorry, Claus had a go at Yuri and managed to get the position back, I should say. So Yuri actually managed to get past Claus again briefly. So those soft tires are still doing good things for him, but he really wants to be getting through the pack and creating gaps because he's... Oh, bit of a mistake on the exit there for Claus. He loses it slightly on the rumble strip there, and that's potentially going to allow Yuri to overtake him once again. Claus has the inside line, so it should be fairly easy for him as long as he's got the braking nailed on, which it looks like he got it perfect there. Not a problem at all, and he closed the gap massively to Skinsy as well. A little bit further up, Peaky is going to try and get side by side with Filthy heading into Death Chicane. Oh yeah, he backs out of it. That would have ended in tears. He was nowhere near alongside to even attempt the move, to be honest. Now he's trying it again though, and this is a much better corner for overtaking on. There's a lot more space to do it, and Peaky's got P4. Great bit of overtaking. Quite a good race actually, this race. Looks like Claus is battling with Skinsy now. Claus trying to get past him, so things go well for Peaky. He's moving up, but Skinsy is now moving down because Claus looks like he's got that move done wonderfully through the quick chicane there. He's already up into P6 after 9 laps after starting from the back. Potential for a double win, but the top 3 are very, very far away. There's been absolutely no dramas with the top 3. They've just driven away. About a second or 2 between them each as well. Now next up in Claus' sights is going to be Filthy, but Filthy might have different ideas because he's still pretty close here to Peaky. Thought they might have dived into the pits there, but it is way too early for a pit stop. We're expecting maybe the first guys will try and pit at lap 11, a couple more at lap 12, but most people 13 or 14. probably 13 is when most of them will pit. Pinky not actually driving away from the pack here after getting that position off Filthy a couple of laps ago. 40.8 was the previous lap, that's why, because Filthy was challenging him, and looks like, again, Filthy just so much better on the brakes there. Could have easily collected Filthy, but Peaky, but Filthy's a good driver, so... really slow through that corner. Both of them actually. And again, oh, little bit of contact, but it's fine. Nothing bad happened there. Meanwhile, Whack, we've got in first place, going very wide into turn 1. And his front right is completely dead now, and this is going to be a great opportunity for Riaba to take the lead. I think potentially for the first time to lead a race this season. Oh, Whack hits the wall, avoids damage though. Looks like Woozy's lost a little bit of ground to these guys as well. Whack going wide again. So his tyres are completely gone. He's basically not adjusting his driving well enough to factor in the tyre wear here. But he's holding on for now. Maybe he will be coming into the pits here. I mean, his car can't last any longer. He's going to probably emerge at the back of the pack as well. But if he comes out in traffic, it's not going to be great news for him. Because he'll be on much fresher mediums than everyone else. So let's see. No, he's carrying on once more. So Riaba's going to have to overtake him on track if he doesn't want to lose any more time, because this lap was a 141.3 and the guys behind were doing 140s. Skinsy is the first to pit. So he's doing 13 laps on soft tyres. And it might be one mammoth undercut there as well. Whack's still defending against Riaba. Riaba's got the inside line, but he does back out of it once again. Just like Polty, these two driving very cautiously. Oh, Riaba tried to get a great exit to get a run on Whack, but he goes a little bit too wide. Avoids hitting the wall or anything, so he's only lost maybe half a second there to Whack. And here's where Riaba should be closing the gap a lot through those fast corners, but it actually looks like he lost more time than he gained. 1.3 seconds down off his fastest lap. Whack, that is the tyre degradation for you. And there we go, he lost his traction and Riaba's going to take it here. Whack doesn't put up much of a fight, he's got to come into the pits anyway, and he won't be battling for P1 come the end of the race, because he's got to do the rest of the race, half of the race, on these medium tyres. Everyone, we have to bear in mind, might be coming into the pits right now. If they've got the tyre life to last these 12 laps, well, it's not going to be Riaba. Whack's definitely coming in. Woozy managed to close the gap on them big time there. He's staying out. Then there's a huge gap to Filthy, who's staying out. Claus is staying out, but Peaky is going in at the same time, wanting to cover off that undercut threat from Skinsy. Yuri's coming in off on his softs. Pagel carries on, Hurricane carries on, Brian's in. We got outside the top 10, we got Dado, who's going to carry on. And then Skinsy, who had the undercut just after Dens, he's just coming down the start finish straight now, so we'll stick on board with him and see where he comes out compared to these drivers who pit. So we've got Wack ahead of him, his teammate, but Peaky is some way behind. Polty's behind him, who hasn't pit yet, and then Yuri's just coming out ahead of actually Brian's and Dens, who's still in the pits there, and Kanata, who's already made his pit stop. So pretty good going from Filthy there. It looked like Wack Jamps made a mistake in Death Chicane. He's got damage as well, so I think Skidsy will be overtaking him fairly quickly here, and maybe Wack will be playing the team game. Will he try to hold up Peaky? We'll have to wait and see. Coordinated overtake there. You saw Wack lifting for his teammate, and that is P8 for Skinsy. So this is working out pretty well for him so far, this undercut. He's gonna definitely come out as net winner from this pit sequence. Let's see what's happening right at the front. Riaba's carrying on again. Woozy does come into the pits. Filthy also. Same as Claus. Yeah. Oh no. Filthy actually carried on. What's Pagel gonna do? Pagel's coming in as well, as is Hurricane. I think he crossed the pit line there, so he'll be getting a 3-second penalty. And then Dado as well still hasn't stopped. So he's pitting a lap later than his teammate. So we'll stick with Skinsy once again to see where these medium runners come out. Looks like Woozy's already out ahead of him. It's going to come out in P4. Very impressive for Skinsy. So he just has to chase down Woozy, Filthy, and assuming Riaba will come out ahead as well. Filthy might actually lose position to Skinsy in this pit sequence though. So Wack. Claus has got ahead of Peaky as well, so that's a really important development. Claus, I don't think is going to get caught by Peaky, because he does seem to have better pace at this track. Oh, very wide there for Wack. Again, he's not having fun adjusting to those medium tyres. He's made a couple of mistakes now that we've caught, and he's going to come under a lot of pressure now from the cars behind Claus and Peaky. And this is the downside to doing the alternative strategy, because if no one else does it and they catch you this quickly into the second stint, it's just defending for your life and losing more time and then getting caught by more people. As we see, Riaba is in the pit. Filthy Shuli is joining him. He does indeed, and wide again for Wack. These two are really trying to get past him. Claus is going to send it on the inside of the chicane. This is some good driving. They survived somehow. But surely this is it. This is it for Wack. He's going to get finally overtaken here. As it looks like Riaba is ahead of Woozy and Skinsy. He does retain the race lead. Now is Filthy going to join into this battle? Let's find out. Oof. Peaky goes wide at the corner, actually knocks Wack out of the way there, and ooh, let's rewind that. So we have 4 cars fighting for one corner. We've got Peaky at the back of this train of 3, and Filthy's coming out of the pits there. He has to avoid him, and then he brakes really late, probably because he's trying to avoid all the cars in front. He nudges Wack out of the way. Wack loses all those positions on his medium tyres as well. Peaky still remains behind Claus, and Filthy joins it. Behind all of them, but gets that free position off Wack. That incident did get reported, so we'll have to see what the stewards have to say about it. Oh, Peaky hits the wall now as well. He's going to be under pressure from Filthy. Filthy's going to have a go on the inside. Peaky tries to defend and move a little bit of a block perhaps, but it doesn't work out. Filthy's got P5 quite comfortably. And Peaky has damage and is not going to be able to close the gap here. things are looking really good for Skinsy in the championship for this race. He's in P3, and Peaky is only down in P6. Meanwhile, Dens is only in 11th, so he's not having much fun in this feature race as Dens. Let's have a look at Peaky. Is he going to try and have a move on Filthy once again? Oh, he doesn't get as good an exit, so it's not going to be this lap. So let's have a little check at how far ahead Riaba is. Riaba's not too far ahead of Woozy. Woozy's having a great race, by the way, as is Riaba. Both of them probably having the best pace of their seasons, respectively. Woozy at 38.8 that lap. That's very impressive compared to Riaba's 41.6. And then Skinsy 39.4. Claws, the fastest lap of the race last lap, at 38.7. Again, oh, Filthy's gonna maybe come under a little bit of pressure there. Peaky backs out once again. Every time Peaky has to back out, he actually ironically doesn't hit the wall, and when he tries to go at a bit more pace, he gets himself some damage. And then further back we've got Whack in 7th. He's got a bit of a gap behind him now to Pagel, who not having as much luck as the other guys is carving his way through the field. He's kind of on his own in P8 at the moment, but he's got very fresh tyres. Then Brian's still in the top 10. He made that huge mistake in the sprint, or else he would have got a good sprint result. He was racing really high up in this feature as well, but now he's down in 9th. And then Dent's recovering, and then Hurricane, Dado, Kanata, Yuri, and Polty right at the back. I don't know what's happening with Polty's season. He was yeah, he's just not having a good time in that Genesis. So let's see, where is the fun in this race? Looks like it's still between Peaky and Filthy. Filthy in all of the action so far in this race, and the previous one. In the previous round, Filthy showed some good form and probably had his best races of this season and last season combined, and now he's repeating it again here, showing some great pace in this Lexus. Maybe something finally clicked with how to drive it, but he seems to have found a lot of pace compared to the opening couple of rounds. And he's set purple first sector as well. Oh, is Peaky? But no, he's going to back out again. He keeps having a look. I think he's trying to scare these drivers ahead of him. Filthy's showing a lot of composure at the moment, not letting it phase him. Peaky takes a little bit of the grass there, loses a bit of momentum. So we round the final corner, come out of the chicane. Looks like Peaky's lost more time there again, as we finish our 17th lap out of 24. Riaba's still in the lead. He's looked, this has looked like the easiest race for him so far, but he is under a lot of pressure now from Woozy. Woozy's managed to catch up. Laps that previous lap half a second quicker. He's right up the back of Riaba now as we head into the chicane. He's going to have the dirty air for the first time. Managed to negotiate it pretty well, but Riaba took that corner a little bit better there. Yeah, Riaba's going to keep P1 for now, but he's going to come under a little bit more pressure, I reckon, from Woozy. Woozy's got a little bit more tyre wear going on though, so if Riaba can weather the storm for a couple of laps, I think the last few will be a little bit easier, unless he gets overtaken. Skinsy P3 might be reeling these guys in. It doesn't look like he's that too far behind now. Claws as well. You can't rule out Claws from getting another podium this evening. no! Is he gonna... Oh, he lost momentum, but he actually saved it quite well there, Woozy. This is what happens when you take too much curb on the outside of the exit of that corner, or if you take too much curb on the inside, on the entrance to that final corner as well. You can just lose the car completely, and that's going to give Riaba some respite for now. Let's see what the times are. So a 39 flat for Riaba, which is his fastest lap. Half a second down for Woozy. He's losing a bit of time now. Skinsy in 39.5, so only managed to close the gap by 2/10 despite that little mistake there for Woozy. The 38.9 for Claude, so really, really give in. And then Peaky still very, very close to the back of Filthy, but not managing to get past him. These guys lapping in the high 39s as well. And Peaky's finally going for it. Oh, he pushes him quite deep, but I think there was no contact, and Peaky gets the move done fairly cleanly there. P5 for Peaky, and one more, well, a couple more points that he's not losing to Skinsy in this race. Now let's rejoin the battle for P1. Still a decent gap, and then Skinsy just rounding that corner. It's probably 4 seconds back, I think. So we might have a situation at the end of the race where all four of these cars are basically side by side. Oh, something's happened to Woozy. He's off. He messes up the final corner again, but this time he wasn't so lucky. He's lost 2 places. He's actually not got any damage, but he is down in P4 now. His chances of a podium up in smokes very quickly there, and already it's looking like quite an easy podium. Another good bit of fortune there for Skinsy, because Woozy didn't actually lose any time to Peaky, but Peaky, now that he's got past Filthy, which I think, yeah, we did see that, great move, but now he's got an opportunity to actually catch Woozy as well. So Peaky overtook someone that lap, Skinsy overtook someone that lap, and now Peaky's got a chance to chase down Woozy, but Skinsy is probably not going to have a chance to chase down Riaba. Unless Riaba makes a mistake, but he's been so composed in this feature race. Remember when he first joined the league, he was comfortably winning every sprint and feature race in the tier that we put him in, which was also tier 3, that he earned himself a move up to tier 1. Now he's worked his way back down to tier 3, and proving why we put him there in the first place into tier 1. Filthy putting pressure on Peaky here. He's not wanting to make things easy for Peaky. Peaky's not driving away from him either. I thought once that move was done, that was it. Peaky would find it easy, but not so far. Now let's just watch Woozy as we enter the lap, because he's messed up this final chicane that he's approaching twice in a row. Is it going to be 3 times unlucky? No, he does actually take it. 147 that last lap, 8 seconds off. 8.5 off his fastest there. We'll have to see what that 8.5 seconds would have got him. I think it would have been a P2. He's still under pressure from Filthy. It's just whoever's got the slipstream has the advantage basically out of these 2 cars. A little bit further down, let's have a quick check. Pagel is just a solid P7 at the moment. Whackjamp's still in 8th, so doing pretty well on those mediums. He's only lost a position to Pagel since we last did this little run through. Brian's still in the top 10, Den's still 10th, and trying to put a little bit of pressure on Brian's. And then Hurricane outside the top 10. Dado Kanata, Polti's managed to get past Yuri. He's a long way at the back there. He's done a 48, a 57, a 44, a 43, and a 40, so some way off the pace of the leaders. I think this will be Riaba's first win in quite a few races as well, if he manages to hold on for another 3 laps. This gives you a very comfortable P2 there. Woozy is getting caught pretty quickly now by Peaky, so let's just stick with this battle for a little bit. Filthy loses it a little bit on corner exit. Wide entry into that corner for Woozy allows Peaky to close the gap. Oh, Woozy managed to avoid damage there, but Peaky didn't. He wasn't so lucky, and he's got front bumper damage. And his quest for P4 is taking a massive hit there. Woozy took a really wide entry into the chicane there, but kept it on track at least. Come on guys, I need some excitement here. Everything's nicely spaced out and no one's really challenging for positions at the moment. Which is good news for the guys up front, Riaba and Skinsy. I think Skinsy will take this P2. Bit of a disastrous time for... Oh, something's happened to Whack. He's down in 11th now. So he had a 53 that last lap, so he's lost 13 seconds somewhere because of a mistake, no doubt. Because he wasn't, he didn't have any pressure from any cars behind him at the time. So his chance of a top 10 are done and dusted. Hurricane's actually just going to consistently work his way into the top 10 through not making errors in this feature race. Dens will be grateful for that one extra position, but this is not a good round for Dens in his championship hopes. He might be able to catch Brian before the end, but it's not looking likely because we're on lap 23 out of 24. And it's looking fairly comfortable here for the top three. We've got Woozy, Peaky and Filthy pretty much lapping the same kind of pace at this stage. He is slowly closing the gap there though. He's right on board with Peaky. Oh, really wide entry to the final chicane from Woozy. He's going to lose loads of momentum there. And potentially this is going to be a... well, they're still side by side going down the home straight as we start the final lap of the race. Woozy's got the inside line for the opening corner of it, which is most important line to have for this corner. Now there is a little bit of contact on entry, nothing too bad, and Woozy keeps that position for now. Filthy might have a little sniff at Peaky, but Peaky's actually trying to get alongside Woozy again, going into Death Chicane. Again, Woozy's going to have the inside line for the corner. Peaky's actually just about ahead, heading into the corner, but he has to back out of it. Woozy does clip the wall a little bit. I'm not even sure if he's got enough fuel left in his tank. He probably does, just about, and he's got position still for now, which is some really great defending there as Filthy goes incredibly wide, manages to avoid hitting a barrier though. Nothing to write home about. Peaky's got, well, this is basically his last chance, this little straight here to pull alongside. He backs out of it at the last second. He had a look though, and he's still not able to get past Woozy, so it's all kicking off on the final lap here. Woozy's tyres are completely dead now. Peaky's going to maybe try and have a sniff up the inside into this final corner. He does. The door's left open. He's going to take it. He has to for his championship. and it's a clean move, and he's got P4. But what we want to look at now is this man, Riaba. The German's going to take his first victory of the season. Now he's a full-time driver. He started as a reserve. He's gone back to full-time now. He's going to probably be a force to reckon with in the second half of the season. I think he's got a few more wins capable. P1 for Riaba, P2 for Skidsy. Great result for his championship. And then P3 for Claus. Quite a way back from Skidsy at the end. And then Peaky manages to get P4, and it looks like Woozy's out of fuel. He's dropping back, so as you can see, he's got very slow in the background there. Filthy takes P5 quite easily. Pangoga takes P6. I did spot that his fuel was a lot lower than the other cars. He's going to lose P7 to Brian. Oh, what a nightmare. P8 for Dens. It's going to be P9 for Hurricane, so pretty good result for Hurricane there. And then Woozy's just going to take P10 ahead of Whack and Dano there, who come past really close. Then we got Polty, who's coming round the corner for the final time himself to take P13. And we've got Kanata 14th and Yuri 15th. Have already finished the race a lap down. Couldn't get the 24th lap in. So what that does for the championship, let's have a look. We have... Let's not watch the start again. So we have Peaky in P1. He's only 3 points ahead of Skinsy, and they've managed to get quite a big gap to Bad Robot now. Bad Robot's 25 points behind Peaky. Then Riaba's actually moved up into 4th place. Despite missing the opening round, there wasn't space for him, as I think all the full-timers wanted to race in that round. He's got 72 points, so he's 52 points behind. But he's actually overtook Whack, who's had his last 3 races, P13, P14 and P11. I don't suppose he's been watching this stream after those performances today. And then Claus managed to drag himself all the way up into P6 after his double podium. So he got a victory and he got a P3. I think he got pole and potentially 2 fastest laps there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. So he's got 60 points. And then Filthy in P7. Woozy P8 after his disaster, actually his worst round of the season despite running in P2 for most of that race. Brian is in P9 and Kimmy, despite only doing 2 races, he is in 10th place. So that's it, halfway through the season, and next up we got Catalonia at night time. So it'll be an interesting one, and looking forward to going through it with you all next week.